Hey, hello guys, welcome to Photoshop for Beginners. In the video of today, I'm gonna teach you how to mask layers, how to actually use the levels in Photoshop, how to use a vector mask, how to use smart objects, and much more. So stay till the end of this video because you might learn a couple of things that you didn't know before. And without any more delay, let's start designing. Okay guys, I'm gonna provide the link of these images in the description, but let's start just with the normal mask. How to create a normal mask? Well, you have the mask option right here. Okay, there are two ways to create a mask. You can create either a selection. Let me create a quick selection like this in a shape, and you click the mask option and it's gonna mask it right away. The other way to mask the object, if you actually have the object right there, you just click the mask option and you go with the brush tool and you actually change it to black, and whatever you click is gonna be masked in the layer. So the way that the mask works is everything that is white is gonna be the image. Everything that is black is not gonna be there. So it's a really good, in a non-destructive way to actually edit your images, and it's really useful. And that brings us to the second option that we have for masking, and this is particularly my favorite in some circumstances, is this option that you have with I use the curve pen tool, and then you create the shape that you want to mask real quickly. Imagine that I just want the circle part of the coffee, and after I make the selection, I just right click it and I create a vector mask. The difference with the vector mask, what I like about the vector mask when I go with simple shapes for some websites and stuff, is that it's really sharp, and sometimes you want to just crop the borders of something and make it look sharper no matter what. The best way is the vector mask, and there is a bonus tip with the vector mask. When you have your vector mask, it works like an Illustrator mask. Let me explain it. It's like a vector mask because you can edit it. You can take the parts of the mask and you can actually mess it up or mess around with them, and it's gonna be with the handles, and you can actually change it as much as you want. Let's talk about clipping layers. This is a really good one, and when I actually, believe me, when I learned this one, it blew my mind. When you want to change the levels of something in your actual document, let me explain you real quickly. I have this image right here. Let me take this girl from this image. Let me copy it. Let me paste it real quickly right here. I'm gonna put her like right here at the top. I'm gonna duplicate them, Command J. I'm gonna take her and put her right here. I put her right here. I'm gonna click enter right now. Okay, and I have her right there. So the really awesome thing about the clipping option that you have is this. Imagine that I wanna actually change the color of the design, but only in one layer, one of the layers that I want to do right now. For example, I go here and I work the levels because I want to make the image darker. I want to just make the image a little bit darker, and you know, the black's less black, and then just mess it around like that. Well, there is a cool thing that you could do, that if you only click this button right here, it's gonna clip this effect to the layer that is right underneath it. For example, if I click this arrow selects this layer, and the effects that I actually mess up with this, they're gonna be directly linked to the layer that I have selected. This is not gonna affect the other layers. The great thing about this is that you can do it with many layers. Let me explain you how. You're gonna select right here, and you're gonna go to the curves, and you're gonna mess up with the curves right now. For example, I'm gonna put this one high and these two lows. So I'm messing up a little bit with the midtones. If I take this, it's gonna modify everything. However, if I click the clipping option, is gonna only affect one of the images that I have, and I think it's a really powerful tool. And if we go a little bit further, there's another cool tip. For example, if I zoom a little bit, you see this white part right here? That is a mask. And now that we know how to use the mask, the great thing about it is, like, if we use the brush tool and we reduce it, we can select where do we want to actually apply the effect. Isn't this really awesome? When I'm working with my UX UI designs, when I'm working with anything that I do, I always remember that you can clip the mask to only apply effects to the layer that is right underneath it. So a really powerful tool. Let's talk about the smart objects. One of the great things about the smart objects, those are objects that you can actually work in different programs, and they're gonna have the changes in Photoshop. Let me explain it better. I have a logo right here in Illustrator, and I want to add it to the design that we have right now, right? Command C, and I'm going to go to Photoshop, and I'm going to go with Command V. I'm going to click Smart Objects, and I'm going to click OK. I'm going to place the logo right here, something like that. One of the things that I realized about the logo is like, oh, I don't like how that yellow part of the logo looks like. The good thing about using Smart Objects is the great thing that I can only just click the logo. It's going to open the logo in Illustrator, and I just need to take those two colors and just use the eyedropper tool, select the different color, and then file and save. And when I save, if I go back to Photoshop, the changes are gonna be applied to the smart object. It's a really great tool to know how to use. And you can take this even further. For example, I'm gonna open Adobe XD right now. Okay, once we have Adobe XD open, I just place the image that we already have. And one of the good things that you can do in Adobe XD, imagine that you wanna write something that says like enhance. Let me change the font to something bold and all caps. Okay, so let me select the font. Let me put it all caps, and I'm gonna select this. I'm gonna make it bigger. I'm gonna place it on top, and I'm gonna just change the color to white. Let me change the color of the artboard to something darker like that. If I have a contrast issue with my images, in the case that you have a contrast issue, you just need to right click it. You go to edit in Photoshop. So it's gonna open the image in Photoshop. You're gonna do what I told you. You're gonna go with the levels or with the curves. And you're gonna mess up a little bit the levels of the image. You're gonna try to apply it a little bit. You're gonna try to reduce the dark colors. Let's boost them a little bit up. Something like that. We're gonna take this one and you're gonna take them like that. And messing up a little bit with the curves, something like that. And then you're gonna save it. You're gonna click OK. You're gonna go back to Adobe XD. And the changes are gonna be applied in Adobe XD. So you don't have to do everything in one program. You can actually use smart objects interchangeably in Photoshop and in XD and even in Illustrator. Let's talk about the selection tool. Well, the selection tool is really useful. For example, if I want to take only one part of the image, I just use the selection tool and I just mark the part of the image that I want, and I just press the masking options and I can actually mask that part of the image. But we can take this a little bit further. Look at this. If I want to resize an image or something and I want to take only one part of the image, a good thing that you could do is just use your selection tool, create a selection, and after that you go to the crop tool and you're gonna just enter, and it's gonna crop all the document to the size that you want of the selections that you create. But with the crop tool, we have another benefit because we can actually align items in Photoshop. Yes, let me show you how. When you are in Photoshop, you can align items really easily. You just select the item. I like to press Command A because I always try to align it with the artboard, and you just use these tools right here. I have a video right here that you can see where I do it in Illustrator, but in Photoshop it's really similar, so I recommend in my previous video. One thing that you could do is that when you click it, it's gonna align the items within the artboard the best way possible. Let me try to use all this to align every item. So if I select this, I press Command A and I try to align the item in the middle of the image, Command D and then Command T, and resize this image right here. And let me take this one. Let me take this image right now. I'm gonna put it right here. So one thing that you can actually do when you're aligning items is you just group the items. After I have them grouped, I just press Command A and I align. And since the items are grouped, they're gonna align together. And it's a really powerful tool. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you learned something really cool about Photoshop today. And if you like this type of video, just give it a like and tell me in the comments below which is your favorite tip from this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.